Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Hanamatsuri Buddha Day service. As I guess most of you know, my name is Cynthia, and I will be your MC this morning. It's nice to see so many of you here today, and thank you very, very much for joining us in person once again and also online. We will begin our service with the ringing of the Kansho, or the temple bell, which signifies the start of our service. As you may know, it is a deep and sacred ritual steeped in ancient tradition and is a calling of the people to come together to listen to the Dharma or teachings. The bell represents the gratitude and deep appreciation of the members, friends, and guests of the Windward Buddhist temple. Please remain quiet as the bell is being rung. We will now have meditation followed by the chanting of the Vandana Ti-Sarana, which can be found in the red Jodo Shinshu Service book on page 7. If you are able, please stand. Please be seated. Reverend Kalu will now cite the Sambujo found in the red Jodo service book on page 9, followed by an aspiration. The Sambujo is inviting Amida, Shakyamuni, and all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, that is everywhere, to symbolize our willingness to open our hearts and minds to receive the Dharma.
heaven and earth, I alone am the world-honored one. This is the last birth. There is no further becoming here. These words were spoken by the newly born Buddha as fragrant flowers bloomed and sweet rain fell from the skies 2,500 years ago to mark the birth of the fully enlightened one. Today we commemorate the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha in Lumbini Garden with profound joy in our hearts, for it marked the day that a way was opened for us to transcend the endless cycle of birth and death and achieve the supreme goal of becoming Buddhas ourselves. Let us pay our respect and express gratitude to the world-honored one whose birthday we fondly remember on this Hanamatsuri service. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
We will now chant the Kanmoku-ge. This is printed on the handout that was given to you when you arrived. As the chant begins, we will start the pouring of the tea. Now I'll try to explain this really good. Okay, so we're going to be pouring the tea on the Buddha's statue. We will begin with those of you in the front row on the side where Reverend Kalu sits. Please go to the center aisle, pour the tea on the baby Buddha statue, continue to the outer aisle past the podium, and go back to your seats. Okay? The rest of the section will follow. When that section is finished, the front row in the front of the podium will go to the center aisle, walk to the front, pour the tea on the baby Buddha statue, and continue to the outer aisle, past the podium, and return to your seats. And the rest of the section will follow.
Shogun Geishu Daisho Bogyabon Denjo Tenge Ryosokuson Gato Koni Kudokusui Anyokunyorai Joshin I pour sweet tea on Buddha, whose great virtues and wisdom help all beings to remove all defilements and be called the mindfulness of Buddha. Thus I bow in reverence to Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddha great and noble one, among all humanity, pouring now this pure sweet tea. Let us praise Shakyamuni, Buddha pure and virtuous, Gagon Kanmoku-ge Shonyorai, Yochi Shogam Kudokuju, Rojoku Shujo Ryoriku, Doshonyorai Johoshin, Keishu Daisho Bogyabon, Enjo Tengeryo Sokuson, Gato Koni Kudokusui, Anyokunyorai Johoshin, I pour sweet tea on Buddha, whose great virtues and wisdom help all beings to remove all defilements and become the mindfulness of Buddha. Thus I bow in reverence to Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddha great and noble one, among all humanity, pouring now this pure sweet tea. Let us praise Shakyamuni, Buddha pure and virtuous, Gagon Kanmoku Shonyorai, Yochi Shogam Kudokuju, Gojoku Shujo Ryoriku, Doshonyorai Johoshin, Heishu Daisho Bogyabon, bom tenjo tenge ryo sokuson gato koniku dokusui hanyo gnyorai joho shin I pour sweet tea on Buddha, whose great virtues and wisdom help all beings to remove all defilements and be called the mindfulness of Buddha. Thus I bow in reverence to Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddha great and noble one, among all humanity, pouring now this pure sweet tea. Let us pray Shakyamuni, Buddha pure and virtuous, Gakon Kanmoku Shonyorai, Jochi Shogum Kudokuju, Gojoku Shujo Ryoriku, Doshonyorai Joho Shin, Keishu Daisho Bogyabon, Tenjo Tenge Ryo Sokuson, Gato Koni Kudokusui, Kanyo Gnyorai Joho Shin, I pour sweet tea on Buddha, whose great virtues and wisdom help all beings to remove all defilements and be called the mindfulness of Buddha. Thus I bow in reverence to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the great and noble one, among all humanity, pouring now this pure sweet tea. Let us pray Shakyamuni, Buddha pure and virtuous. Aman and mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo, 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 namo.
If you are able to, please rise for Gatha, Happy Buddha Day, in the Praises of the Buddha book on page 76. Thank you. Please be seated. Our speaker this morning is our temple minister, Reverend Soul Kalu.
Thank you for the tea. Okay. Let's put our hands together in Kansho. Amida, full of compassion for those lost in the great night of ignorance, the wheel of light of Dharma, body being boundless, took the form of the Buddha of unhindered light and appeared in the land of peace. Amida, who attained Buddhahood in the infinite past, full of compassion for foolish beings of the five defilements, took the form of Shakyamuni Buddha and appeared in Gaia. From Shinran Shonin's Jodo Wasan, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning. Thank you for coming today to our Sunday morning service here at Windward Buddhist Temple. Before I continue, I'd like to take note of our arrangement for this Hanamatsuri service. This is very unique. There is no structure. And what I can say is this is better. You know why? Because this is more natural, yeah? There was no structure when Shakyamuni Buddha was born. Yeah. So this is more like, closely approximates Lumbini Garden. Thank you for those of you who set this up. Very good. Well, anyway, we had a very interesting Buddha Day service last Sunday at the Soto Mission, and an equally enlightening Dharma message by the guest speaker, Mr. J. Sakashita. It was very encouraging to see some of the members of Windward Buddhist Temple attend the service, some as part of the choir group. I was happy that I was able to attend also, and I got to observe again the Sodo Zen temple setup, different from our Shinshu temple. And of course, we chanted the Heart Sutra, one of my favorite sutra, although it's not Jodo Shinshu. And I have been practicing for so many years, but I could not memorize all the lines on that sutra. I'm getting old. Today we are observing our own Hanamatsuri, the birth of the founder of Buddhism, Shakyamuni Buddha. But as most of you know the story of the Buddha's birth already, today I will talk about something else that some Shin Buddhists still do not know or are confused with. And that is the difference between Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, and Amida Buddha, the main Buddha of reverence in our Shinshu tradition. Now, I'd like to share a story with you. This is a real one. When I was serving at Makawao Hongwanji back in 2014, it was Hanamatsuri that day, and Dharma school children made a drawing, a poster of the Buddha standing up, and they say Hanamatsuri 2014, and below that they wrote, "Happy birthday, Amida Buddha." Wrong. Well, I'll explain to you later why, but I forgive them because they're children, okay? But I do hope that the Windward Buddhist Temple Sangha will continue their active participation in Dharma classes, lectures, and seminars to further their knowledge and understanding of the Buddha's teachings. Nembutsu seminars particularly are a great way to learn the Dharma because there is usually a question and answer portion, group discussion, exchange of ideas and opinions, and other ways of learning the teachings of the Buddha. I have been to many Nembutsu seminars in the past, and one of the most interesting ones is the one I attended at Makawao Hongwanji in 2013 when I was a resident minister there. The guest speaker at that time was Reverend Laverne Sasaki. I don't know if some of you know him. He's a retired minister of the Buddhist Churches of America, and he conducted a 2-day seminar on Jodo Shinshu, including also going over some of the basics of Buddhism and how our tradition of Mahayana Buddhism evolved from the period after the historical Buddha passed away, some 500 years later. There were interesting questions posed during the seminar, and some of the most thought-provoking ones were, how many Buddhas are there in the universe or in ultimate reality? Who or what is Amida Buddha? How did the concept of Amida Buddha and the Pure Land tradition of Buddhism come about 500 years after the death of the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni? Let's answer the question in order. First, how many Buddhas are really out there? We don't know, yeah? There is no exact mathematical figure. Some books on Buddhism give the number as many as the grains of the sand in the Ganges River in India. That is a fantastic figure. If we include all living sentient beings, not just humans, but also the smallest insects or organisms. Yes, sentient beings are included, not just humans. Then the number of potential Buddhas can exceed even the grains of the sand of all the beaches and oceans on earth. It is because each sentient being has what is called Buddha nature, Busho, they call it in Japanese, the potential for awakening to the ultimate truth in the universe. All the living things we see outside this temple, and even the ones too tiny for us to see with our naked eyes, will someday, according to Buddhist teachings, become Buddhas or awakened ones. Awakening is the same as enlightenment. Well then, based on the teachings, there are billions, perhaps trillions of Buddhas and potential Buddhas in the entire universe. But how come our central object of reverence is only one Buddha, and that is Amida Buddha? And what about the historical Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, Shakyamuni? Where does he fit in? Before I continue, I'd like to ask, who knows the difference between Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha? Come on, it's not a test, it's not a quiz. Nobody knows the difference. Okay. Who doesn't know? I don't see any hands either. Okay, but of course, Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, whose birthday we are celebrating today, and he's the founder of Buddhism, and Amida Buddha, the Buddha of Western Pure Land, are not exactly the same from an ordinary person's view. So, who's that Buddha standing? And I'm going to show you some pictures. No, he lost the other one. No. What happened? Okay, now this is the quiz. Which one of these is Amida and which one is Shakyamuni? Nobody knows. You're more familiar with this one, yeah? For those of you who have been to Japan and to Kamakura, this is the great Buddha, sitting Buddha. This is Amida. And this is Shakyamuni Buddha. They all look alike, yeah? Both sitting, but it's probably too small for you to see, but I'm going to pass this picture and pay attention to the mudra or the hand position. Okay? The sitting form of Amida is the same Amida you can see in other Pure Land temples. Like in Jodo Shinshu, the one in Makiki, yeah? They have that kind of Buddha. Yes, so Amida Buddha all sitting. And Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida's features are almost alike. But how can we tell the difference? Like I said, the mudra or the hand position for Amida is like this, two circles. Yeah? Okay, that is Amida. When you see a statue of Amida sitting down with that gesture, that is Amida Buddha in the Pure Land tradition. Shakyamuni Buddha, on the other hand, is one circle right on top of the left. Yeah. Okay? Only one. That is Shakyamuni Buddha. So you can see that mostly in temples in Japan, but not in temples outside of Japan in Southeast Asia. Yeah, they usually have Shakyamuni Buddha like this. This is something that Prudence gave me. It's too small, yeah, but there is no mudra. But this is Shakyamuni Buddha, which you can see in temples in China and also in Thailand, Cambodia, and all the other Theravada Buddhist countries. Yeah, the gesture that you see with Amida Buddha is called the Amida no Join Mudra. The circles formed by the thumbs and four fingers represent the world of enlightenment and illusion. Shakyamuni Buddha, only one big circle, right hand placed on top of the left, palms facing upward, thumbs touching each other, and both mudras are called gestures of meditation. Okay, so in other words, the both figures, both Shakyamuni and Amida, are sitting down. They are in meditation. Okay. In our Jodo Shinshu Buddhist tradition, however, Amida Buddha is always depicted in statue form, as standing up, not sitting, with one hand going up in mudra like this, and the other one pointing down. This is symbolic of Amida no longer in meditation. He's Pao with meditation, but already in dynamic action for our salvation. So in other words, he is already standing up to save us. There are no more meditation because that's already done. He has completed his practice. Well, we cannot see it usually when we have a statue of Amida, but in Japan it's usually depicted as one foot of the standing Amida Buddha in front of the other to symbolize Amida's coming towards us in order to save us. So there is action there that's dynamic. Yeah? Amida Buddha is the Buddha that presides in Sukhavati, the Pure Land, a realm he created as the Bodhisattva Dharmakara. So he is the supreme Buddha there. But so far as differences between Amida and Shakyamuni are only in appearance of the hand gestures and statues that represent them. The most important difference between Amida and Shakyamuni is that Amida was not a historical person. He never lived on earth. He was not a human being. But Amida, some Buddhist scholars say, is a personified symbol for the Dharma, nirvana, enlightenment, or ultimate reality or truth. Ultimate truth is something beyond our ordinary human comprehension, and it cannot be expressed precisely in words, but its main essence is wisdom and compassion that embraces all life. Because Amida represents ultimate reality, Amida actually has no form, no shape, color, or material essence. We humans make him to appear like a human being in statue form in order to at least have a frame of reference that we can conceptually understand. However, there are two other ways to represent Amida Buddha in temples and altars. One is the painted image of Amida standing up. And that is this one. You're familiar with this one, yeah? That is the scroll, they call it. And the other one is, somebody knows. That one. Rokoji Myogo, the sixth Chinese character that says Namo Amida Butsu in kanji. Now, Renyo Shonin, the second founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, classified these representations as that one standing statue is good, this one is better, but this one is best. Why is that? Because in reality, Amida doesn't have any shape, form, or color. So he is best represented in the name, the Myogo, Namo Amida Butsu. But why don't we use Namo Amida Butsu in our temples? We have this Namo Amida Butsu character when you go to the Betsuin, to the Annex Temple. But the reason is, not everybody can read kanji or familiar with Chinese characters. So we use the image standing up. Now, some Buddhists, Shinshu Buddhists rather, are too gung-ho about the Amida Buddha statue has to be standing up. If you bow your head in front of a sitting Amida Buddha, that's heresy. Wrong. That happened to me. My ex-wife was a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist minister, but not Hongwanji. I did it one time, when we went to, what was it, Jodo Inn. And he said, you cannot do that because the Buddha in Jodo Shinshu has to be standing up. I said, if you showed me a picture of your mother sitting and standing up, that's still your mother. No difference, yeah? You bow and you put your hands in Gassho and you bow for what the statue represents, not what it actually is. Yeah? Ideally, it should be standing. Okay, we understand that. But that is not a big deal when you bow before a sitting Amida Buddha. Okay, now let's go back to Shakyamuni Buddha. The Buddha Shakyamuni was a historical person, like I said. He lived in India and founded Buddhism, and he gave up his comfortable life as a prince in a kingdom to seek ways to eliminate the sufferings of all sentient beings. He discovered a path to end suffering when he awakened to the Dharma. He taught what he had awakened to upon his enlightenment for 45 years and died at the age of 80. So in other words, Shakyamuni Buddha, whose birthday we're celebrating today, lived in human form in the Saha world, or ordinary mundane world, where every sentient being is subject to repeated cycles of birth and death and suffering. What did Shakyamuni Buddha come to be enlightened? He was enlightened to the law of universal truth. He did not create the Dharma. Rather, he rediscovered or realized the Dharma. The Dharma has always been there, the teachings, the knowledge. The Dharma is timeless. It has no beginning and no end, and it has always existed even before the historical Buddha was born. In other words, the Dharma created Buddha, not the other way around. One becomes a Buddha upon awakening and understanding ultimate reality. Now going back to Amida, since Amida Buddha is a personification of the eternal Dharma, then Amida, as representing ultimate reality, was there even before Shakyamuni Buddha came into existence. Amida is one of the three forms of Buddhas called the Sambhogakaya form. There's the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. Well, I'm not going to go into that because that's a little difficult. But a Buddha that transcends all color, all forms, even time and space. Amida, whose essence is wisdom and compassion, has always been trying to reach out to us beings who are living in this world of suffering created by our ignorance and delusions. However, because Amida, or the eternal Buddha, belongs to a different non-material realm, he could not connect directly to us beings in a material world. Our ordinary senses cannot perceive something that has no form, shape, or color. How then can a formless, colorless, shapeless Buddha make his presence, his teachings known to beings in a world with form, color, shape, and substance? He has to take a human form, like us. And so, according to one Mahayana explanation, including Shinran, the historical human Buddha, Shakyamuni, who lived in India, was a bodily manifestation called the Nirmanakaya form of the eternal, timeless Buddha, who, according to Shinran Shonin, is called Amida Buddha. So in other words, Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida Buddha are actually the same. Only Amida Buddha took the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, so enabled to communicate with us ordinary human beings. That's according to Shinran. Amida Buddha is a manifestation of truth itself, the Dharma, the ultimate reality of things. It exists universally in all times and places, but it's utterly beyond our mental powers to understand. Our minds were formed to perceive and understand matters. And also, this world has conflicts and limits. But if the Buddha is unlimited and we are limited, we are forever unable to interact or communicate. That is precisely why the eternal Buddha reaches out from the formless realm of eternal liberation and takes a form and manifests himself in our physical world. That is the meaning of the Japanese word nyorai. So you heard the word nyorai when I chanted the Sambojo. Ujo mida nyorai. That means coming from the void. That also means Tathagata, to describe the Buddha. Nyorai is the voice calling to us in the form of the name Namo Amida Butsu. Amida Buddha expressed his primal vow, a pledge to liberate every sentient being without exception through the mouth and words of Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, is therefore Amida Buddha, the timeless, formless Buddha in human form, as Shinran Shonin stated in his Jodo Wasan. Are you confused enough? Let's go on to the third and last question. The concept of veneration of Amida only came about 500 years after the death of Shakyamuni Buddha. Theravada Buddhists, the ones closer to the original teachings, and some modern-day Buddhist scholars use this fact to say that Amida Buddha came about later after Shakyamuni Buddha, and therefore Amida is not a real Buddha and was a creation of latter-day Buddhists. It is true that the story of Amida becoming a Buddha is not based on historical facts, but Amida, as I have said earlier, is not a historical figure. The story of Amida goes that a person named Dharmakara, or Dharmakara, Hoso Bosatsu in Japanese, like when we chant the Shoshinge, Namo Fukashigi Ko Hoso Bosatsu Iniji, that's the Dharmakara person, made vows to save beings from suffering, attained enlightenment, and became Amida Buddha after many eons of practice. The characters for the Amida story may be apocryphal or not true, but the basis for the story of Amida becoming a Buddha is not false. Awakening to ultimate reality is not fictitious. That happens. The goal of our Buddhist path is in itself awakening to Buddhahood. Shakyamuni Buddha, a real person who lived in India, awakened to that truth, and so did many other bodhisattvas in the past. That's not fiction, but a historical fact. However, this is a very complicated matter to discuss, and it has led to arguments, debates, and created confusion among the ordinary followers of the Buddha's teachings. And that is why there are so many forms of Buddhism that exist today. The explanation given by some Buddhist researchers as to why the worship of Amida and Mahayana Buddhism came later after the death of historical Buddha was that Amida came to symbolize the spirit of Shakyamuni Buddha's compassion. All right, so what happened was when the historical Buddha passed away, as time passed after his passing, the compassion part of his teaching became less and less emphasized because people at that time were so focused on attaining enlightenment. So, 500 years after Shakyamuni Buddha's death, his teachings were beginning to be focused on just practice for self-enlightenment of the practitioner. The spirit of compassion, the desire to save all beings, is not just oneself, was beginning to disappear. It was to re-emphasize the spirit of compassion and universal salvation that Mahayana Buddhism and the concept of Amida and the Pure Land developed, as some Buddhist scholars say. However, because I am a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist and therefore follow Buddhism according to what Shinran Shonin has taught, I accept Amida Buddha as the personification of the ultimate truth or reality, manifested in human form by the historical Shakyamuni Buddha. Amida is unconditional love, compassion that calls to us to return to our true nature of being Buddhas by awakening to things as they truly are, through which we will be freed from the sufferings inherent in our unenlightened realm. Personally, I feel as a minister that it is rather pointless to try and reinterpret what I have been taught since I converted to Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. As an ordinary person without any intellectual ability, I just accept what Shinran said in a Tanisho. Quote, "As for me, I simply accept and entrust myself to what my revered teacher Honen told me. Just say the Nembutsu and be saved by Amida. Nothing else is involved." If we follow Shinran's view of Shakyamuni Buddha as the manifestation of Amida Buddha, then today, Hanamatsuri is the birth of Amida Buddha in human form. The core purpose of Shakyamuni's appearance is to reveal and promote the primal vow of Amida Buddha, which offers salvation through the entrusting heart of Shinjin. Let's conclude this message by saying the name of Amida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Sorry.
Thank you, Reverend Kalu, for that excellent, excellent Dharma talk. If you are able to stand, please turn to your Praises of the Buddha book for Gatha Softly Blew the Breezes on page 183, and continue to stand for the Nembutsu on page 145.
but not finding the house builder, I traveled through the rounds of countless births and painful deaths. Oh, painfulest birth ever and again. House builder, you have now been seen. You shall not build the house again. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. Okay, this concludes the formal portion of our service this morning. We will now have announcements from Dennis and myself, but I will start, I guess. Our temple bondans will be held in July, as many of you may know. So we are asking for your support by donating gently used items to sell at our Bonnan's rummage sale. So we will be collecting these items from now through the end of June. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of the fundraising committee in advance for your support. Okay, number 2. Today is bingo. Okay, so now Dennis will come up to do announcements.
Morning, everyone. Thanks for being here for our Hanamatsuri, our Buddha Day service. And where was the baby Buddha born? What's that place called? Lumbini Garden. That's what this is. I don't know. Some of you familiar with, we used to have a structure where you would reach in and pour. This is more authentic. This represents Lumbini Garden. But that was put together by Prudence and Cynthia. Good job. Thank you, Reverend Saul, for your message. Do we get credit for that class? Prudence, thank you for being the greeter. Cookie rang the Kansho today. And of course, Joy played the piano, and Ryan is recording the service. Next Sunday, our next service will be for our Ishini and Kakushini Day service in honor of the wife and daughter of Shinran Shonen, the founder of our Jodo Shinshu sect. Reverend Saul will lead the service, and the Dharma message will be provided by Doris Oshiro of Jikoen Hongwanji. She's been a very active member at that temple. Now, as part of today's observance of Buddha Day, we have made a collection of new and gently used children's books. They are basically presented to the baby Buddha for his birthday. We plan to donate the collected books. Prudence will explain further. But from what I can tell on the back table, you've been very generous. Thank you.
We're going to, since we collected so many books, I'm going to give half of them to this group of, in Kaneohe called Tiny Homes. There's a group that is built tiny homes near the Windward Community College, and they have lots of families there that have children. The other half we're taking to Weinberg Village, that's in Waimanalo. So we're going to try to serve Kaneohe side and Waimanalo. So that's where we'll be delivering those books. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Prudence. And we continue our food drive, and next Sunday will be the last day of the food drive. So your donation of non-perishable food would be greatly appreciated. On April 27th, there will be an event at the Hawaii Betsuing. It'll be a book reading and signing event. The book is titled Gambare Hiroshima, Don't Give Up. The book is a rediscovered diary of the late Larry Fumio Miwa, who, as a schoolboy, documented the aftermath of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima day by day. Larry Miwa's son, Stephen Miwa, helped turn the diary into a book that includes entries in both English and Japanese, along with historical pictures. All proceeds from book sales at the event will go towards the current production of Peace on Your Wings, thanks to the Larry Miwa Peace Foundation. Peace on Your Wings performances will be held in Hawaii and Japan. The cast will perform a few songs during the book reading event. So I have a flyer up on the bulletin board. You can get more information, including how to sign up for it. There's a email address as well as a phone number. And reminder, in September we'll have the Choral Fest 2025. Again, we were having it every other year, but we haven't had one since 2018. We encourage those people who have beautiful voices to sign up. We have the sign-up sheet on the back table. Now we have birthdays, and I call up Cynthia.
Okay, those of you that have a birthday this month, April, please come to the front. I know there's a couple of you anyway. Several of you. Good, good, good. Oh, come to the front, please. Oh, what a gentleman. He lets the women come up first. Okay. All right. Stand. Come on, stand. Yeah. Oh, who's taking a picture? Okay, so we're going to celebrate the four of them as well as the baby Buddha's birthday today. Okay, wait now. Okay, and then we're also going to have a cake, which is going to be coming down the aisle soon. If it can be lifted, it's kind of heavy.
Audrey, can you help Merle? Why don't you help carry him outside?
Oh, there.
You got it?
Okay. Where are the candles? Oh, Gerald's birthday too. Okay. No? Okay, let's sing on the count of two. Oh, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay, thank you very, very much. Happy birthday.
So we'll all have a piece of birthday cake. Are there any other announcements? Okay, then it's time for refreshments. Let's do the words of Thanksgiving. It'll be up on the screen. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we share its benefits with all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddha's compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you.